How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with The Movie Castle, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about my ideas as to what to do after Halloween ends. You see, the Halloween movie recently got Halloween, the sequel to Halloween, the Blumhouse film that was really successful, and after that, Blumhouse announced that they're going to do two more Halloween movies. Halloween Kills and then Halloween Ends. And quite easily you can see Halloween Ends, it sounds like they're taking the sequels and doing a sequel trilogy, wrapping everything up, keeping it all in a nice complete little package there, and probably ending the Michael Myers story after Halloween Ends. Now, that's cool to have an idea where the end's going to be and work towards a goal. It can make the story really focused and make everything nice and tight, and overall produce two really good movies, probably. At least I hope. Now, the thing is, though, the Halloween franchise, more likely than not, the studio's not going to want to let it rest, and to be honest, the fans probably don't want either. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, we want a nice, complete story, and you'd rather have that than a bunch of meaningless sequels, and I get that. But, I have all the movies on Blu-ray, I'm a big fan, and I really want to see the series continue. I want to see them make more movies, but what do you do if you've wrote yourself to an endpoint and you don't really feel like the Michael Myers story has anywhere else to go? Well, I do have an idea, and I'd also be curious to hear your ideas. What do you think the Halloween series should do after Halloween ends in the comments? Feel free to tell me. I'm always interested in looking at that. But here's my idea, and if anyone on the Halloween team's watching, feel free to use this. But when I looked at this, this is actually a issue the Halloween series has run into before. After Halloween 2, the idea was that the Michael Myers story was over. And what did they decide to do after that? Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. They wanted to shift focus away from Michael Myers and turn it into an anthology film. Now, as we know, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch didn't quite work, but I think if we tried it again, we could avoid what went wrong that time. And what did go wrong? Well, first and foremost, people back then went to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch without knowing it was an anthology. They were expecting to see Michael Myers again, and not getting him, that made a lot of people upset. But nowadays we have the internet and increased forms of communication, i.e. people would know going into it that this was going to be an anthology film. Also, anthologies are kind of on the rise lately. Look at Netflix. Haunting of Hill House became Haunting of Bly Manor. American Horror Story had something new for each and every season. Anthology TV is on the rise, so why not anthology movies? Secondly, Halloween 3 was not connected to the first two in any way. In fact, you saw Halloween playing on TV as a movie. I'd say, to resolve this issue, keep it in continuity. Set it in or around Haddonfield, and even if you can, have some characters from the other movies show up or at least be referenced. Keep it within Haddonfield, keep it within the same world. That'll make the whole thing feel more tied in. And the third thing, and this is the biggest thing, keep it a slasher movie. Halloween 3 had a great, cool, magic plot, and as Season of the Witch, that would have been fine, but as a Halloween movie, a weird wizard messing with Stonehenge, that's kind of far out. I'd say if you do an anthology thing, make sure that it's still a slasher movie. And when you decide these new villains, a wizard, that's an odd follow-up to Michael Myers. Keep it a slasher killer, and also keep it relatively realistic. Refrain from doing a supernatural slasher like Pinhead or Freddy. And if they have any magic, make it seem more realistic magic. And if they're funny, make sure they don't go too over the top. I mean, Michael Myers is really stoic and minimal, so don't have them go crazy over the top in the way of Chucky. But do have them seem different. And that's going to be a challenge what's a slasher that goes with the Michael Myers idea, but isn't just a clone of Michael Myers, and that's just going to take a little bit of design. But you look at slashers like Jason Voorhees and Leatherface, those two do go with Michael Myers pretty well, and I could see them existing within the same continuity. So finding something like that that's a realistic, gritty slasher, and also keep in mind that Michael Myers is designed intentionally to be quite minimalistic, so don't go too crazy and over the top. Think of a cool Michael Myers styled slasher, but not a clone, just something that could exist in the same world. And then there you go, you have an anthology series of slashers all set in the world of Halloween. I think that would be a really good idea. But then, on top of this, is that these new characters you create can fight. It took forever for Freddy and Jason to fight each other because they're owned by different studios, but keeping everything under the same umbrella, the same IP, these slashers can cross over and fight with each other, and I really do love versus movies, but you don't get versus movies too often because everything is owned by different people and it's hard to get things to come together. But if you have them under the same IP, not to use a word that might trigger some people, but the same cinematic universe, you can make them fight. It'd kind of be like any of the Godzilla characters can fight each other. It'd be really, really cool to do, series of movies with all these different characters and then have them cross over like the old Universal days. I think that'd be pretty fun. And then plus, once you've built up, 4, 5, 6 of these characters, you could have it all lead to a big ultimate brawl movie. I mean, outside of the Halloween universe, I've been really wanting them to make the Freddy versus Jason versus Michael versus Leatherface movie, but that's never come about. But you could do something like that with these original Halloween characters because they're all already under the same banner. And if we wanted to make it really cool, having this big epic crossover event, that would be a cool time to have a surprise return of Michael Myers. Okay, maybe the last bit, maybe that did go a little too far, but a nice slasher anthology would be really cool, and that's my idea for the Halloween after Halloween ends. Maybe think of, a series subtitle, but don't go too cheesy. I never liked those, a Star Wars story title, and you can't call it Tales from Halloween because that's already another movie. Oh, and one thing that I do want to say before I go is don't introduce some S.H.I.E.L.D.-like agency to tie it over. Every time anyone tries to make a forced cinematic universe, they always introduce some vague, mysterious government agency to try to, tie everything together. Don't do that. Outside of S.H.I.E.L.D. at Marvel, none of these vague government agencies I've ever cared about. I didn't care about Monarch from Godzilla. I didn't care about any of the other ones that Dr. Jekyll S.H.I.E.L.D. team that they were trying to do in The Mummy. No, don't put in a vague government agency, please. But anyway, that's my thought. Anthology slasher movies, keep them slasher, keep them gritty and minimal, and that's where I would go. But I am curious, what do you think they should do with the property after Halloween ends? Just leave it, or leave it for a couple years and reboot it? I don't know, but that's my thoughts. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You're really helping the channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom if you want to see more. I've got a ton of videos. I'm sure I have something else you like. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist over there. Have a good day.